All right, good morning, good afternoon, and I will tell you guys good night a little bit later on. Um, Welcome to Transforming Your Life, and this is going to be the second official episode of the podcast slash YouTube page. So let's go ahead and get into episode two. As you guys remember, episode one was talking about taking the leap, taking a leap of faith into anything that you're passionate about, into relationships, out of relationships. So just being able to kind of take the leap of whatever it is that you want to do. Episode two is taking a slightly different direction. We are going to talk about how you are able to control your emotions. It's going to talk about how it's going, controlling your emotions to help you live a healthier mental life for yourself. A lot of people tend to have trouble with trying to be patient with themselves, not only just patient, but to not, you know, be angry at something or someone all the time. Wanting to really help people get out of that habit of just being mad and being angry and being stressful all the time, it really sucks, and it really drains you a lot. So as we go through these episodes, you guys are going to learn quite a lot about me. You'll kind of get to understand why I am the way that I am and how I kind of became the person that I am today. To be able to take a lot of these negative experiences, and I'm sure that you guys have been through these negative experiences as well, and to be able to turn those things into a positive, change. To be able to really become the best version of myself where I can, share that joy that I have right now with everybody that's around me to, maybe allow you guys to feel the same way. I'm sure you guys have been through some really hard things, and you've been through heartache, you've been through disappointment, you've been through, just all these human emotions, and I want to be able to help you guys take grasp of all those things and to be able to really develop yourselves into people that you love, because one of the hardest things that we go through is self-love. We can't, you can't truly love other people until you have fully understood what type of amazing person that you are, and that you fully deserve everything that's coming to you. So hopefully you guys are you guys are able to develop the same way that I've been able to, and to be able to have a better life for you, and all the people around you. The reason why I chose this specific subject for today's episode is because it's something that I really pride myself upon, is my patience and my ability to stay extremely happy and not bothered by minor inconveniences and things that could ruin my day. And the reason why I do that is because there is nothing more that I would enjoy in this world than everyone in the world just being happy, but two, if I can control my own emotions, throughout the day, when I get home, it not only makes me happier, it makes my mental health happier, but it also makes all the people around me much happier, because not letting a lot of things bother me other than the extremely important things, and even then it's hard for it to really kind of push me over the edge, because I just don't see how giving that much power to either someone or something is going to help me in the long run if I can't control how I feel about those things, right? Whether it's in a marital relationship, whether it's in a friendship relationship, whether it's in a employer relationship, whatever it is that you have throughout your life, it takes, to me, way too much more energy to be angry, to be constantly in this this mindset of just having something drain you all the time. So I choose to kind of to be in a better mood or to be in control of my own feelings. So it makes it so where I can, take control of how I feel every single day. So one of the big takeaways that I feel like is extremely important is to not let everything offend you. Not taking everything offensively, and also not letting things hurt your feelings so consistently. Now, that's a whole lot harder said than done, but when people who don't really fit into your life enough, so this may be referring to some coworkers, this may be referring to some friends that just step into your life versus stay in your life. These type of people who are, blips on the radar, or people who don't, invest in your life, and they're just kind of there to be there. Stop being so offended by some of the things that they may say. I'm sure all of us will go around and we'll hear that this person said something bad about them, or this person said something that may not be so true, and it may hurt your feelings. But at that same time, in that same point, does it really matter? Are these your best friends that are taking the time to go on vacation with you? Are these your family members who are supposed to be there, who love and support you? Or are these just people who are, like I said, just blips on the radar, and they're just taking the time out of their miserable life to hurt your feelings, or to get you riled up, and it's not worth it in the end? Stop letting these things offend you. Not stop letting these things really hurt your feelings, because you're in full control of how you can react to somebody else. While you can't control what these people feel, you can't control what these people hear, you can't control what these people are going to hear. The only thing that you can control is how you react to whatever it is that they're saying, they've said, or they've done. It doesn't matter, because if you can allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you're feeling and then continue forward, that's what you're allowed to do. It's not about hiding away those feelings. It's about being able to feel those feelings while they're there. So if someone says something that gets you extremely angry, be angry. Just allow your body to go over the emotion of being angry and being mad at something, and then let it go. Let it move forward, because now you have felt the way that you felt, and you're not going to let it control you, right? To be able to fully, encapsulate how you're feeling at that time is what's going to allow you to release that anger, or release that bottled up and pent up emotion, and then allow you to go forward, right? So just feel the way you feel and keep going. So I kind of want to sidestep and direct this towards a lot of my, a lot of the men and a lot of the, brethren out there that feel like you're not allowed to feel, right? That you're not allowed to emotionally be available to the people in your life, because, according to society, when you feel or you cry, or you need assistance, or you need love, or you need whatever it is that you need, that you're not allowed to have it, because it's supposed to make you look weak. But in reality, it's what we need to continue to stay strong, right? We can only hold, and as history can show you, you can only hold all that emotion in for so long. Eventually you either become miserable because of all that pent up aggression, all that pent up, depression, all the pent up anxiety. But in reality, it's you guys are deserving to be able to say and feel the way that you feel. And you should be able to get that love back, and to get that shoulder that you can cry on, to get that love that you are asking for from your spouses, from your friends. We should always be able to have our friends tell us that they love us. Men to men, you should be able to say I love you, man, and not have to add the no homo on the back end of that, because love for another person is extremely deep. I love all my friends. I love all my guy friends. I love, my girlfriends. I love my wife. But everyone that knows me knows how deeply I love when I love, the people that are important to me. I will take care of you in every way possible that I can. And I know a lot of you men out there, you do the same. You take care of the people that are around you. You are definitely that protector of the family, of, all the people that are around you. And you are truly deserving of that love, right? And you are deserving of being able to pour out those emotions to the people. And they should be able to to be that shoulder, and to be that ear, and to be that hug that you need, to allow yourself to really be able to melt into somebody, and to feel the emotions that you're allowed to feel. So another step in allowing yourself to fully take control of your emotions, and to continue to develop your own mental health and own self-love, is to understand that you have to acknowledge and accept other people's feelings, right? I have to practice what I preach, and one of the biggest things between what my wife and I do on a consistent basis is, we are not a perfect relationship. We've been together for 14, close to 15 years, and we are going to be married for 9 years this year and 10 years the next. But among the things that we do, we are very good at being able to acknowledge each other and acknowledge our feelings, and in the end, we're able to resolve whatever issue it is because we actively listen to each other for that, right? So a great example is, a lot of the times, if we are in an argument, my wife will say something, and it may, or even, I will say something, and even if the intention was a positive intention, or was a good intention, if it hurt my feelings, or if it hurt my wife's feelings, we have this understanding that no matter what the other person thinks that we're feeling, what we tell them that we feel at the moment is exactly how we actually do feel. So being able to understand and accept that is going to take it a long way with your relationships, whether it is your friendship, or whether it's your spousal relationship, or honestly even your relationships with your parents. To be able to accept that, and to continue to have this conversation, and to develop from there. Because, like I mentioned originally, everyone's feelings are valid. So this next subject is a little bit of a doozy. I am sure that most of us, if not all of us, have probably done this at some point in time in our lives, and recently, very likely. And it's understanding when and when not to respond. And whether you're going to allow that to disturb your peace or not, and learning when to stop in those cases as well, right? So we have all had moments, and especially with things that we're extremely passionate about, whether it be football, whether it be politics, whether it be religion, whether it be whatever it is, we have all had those moments where we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram, we are on TikTok, or we're on some type of social media platform, and someone says something that either sounds extremely outrageous or it sounds, somewhat silly or mundane, or honestly, even if it sounds stupid. And we get into this, competition of, who is right and who is going to be wrong in this discussion or this conversation. And we will always have these moments where we will get into a discussion with one person and you just feel so strongly about it, and you just keep responding, and you respond, and you continue to respond, and later on before you even realize it, it's been 5 hours and you've responded to this person probably a good 10 to 20 times, if not even more than that, and you may have probably even taken the time to respond to 20 or 30 other people that have responded to you. And before you know it, you have spent so much time on people that probably don't mean a single thing to you, because you're probably never going to speak to them again, or you haven't really accomplished anything, right? So what if you or that other person was right? And when you allow yourself to take that much time out of your own day just to argue with somebody to possibly be right, or to possibly be more intelligent than the other person, what does it accomplish, right? What is it going to help you in the long run? You are so unlikely to be able to convince this other person that your opinion is worth anything, because this other person is probably in the same boat as you are, and they think that they're right. And allowing that to disturb your peace is not something that is healthy or beneficial to you at all. A perfect example of this is I'm in a app that reports a lot of sports media, right? And I was talking about my team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I was discussing that they were not going to trade Kenny Pickett. Well, I got into a discussion. I am more than willing to discuss with anybody about sports, politics, whatever. I love to be able to discuss with people. And I got into the discussion with a few people as to why I thought it was kind of silly to think that Kenny was going to get traded. But it wasn't that, I didn't think it was going to happen, but it just seemed unlikely to happen because there hasn't been as much time to develop. This QB market has, a fast forward button on it in today's league. But when we finally got the news that Russell Wilson was headed over to Pittsburgh, and then probably not too long after that, Justin Fields got traded over to Pittsburgh as well. And with this discussion that I had been having with these strangers, I was as respectful as I can. I could probably find the screenshots, but at the same time, I was getting messages from people or comments from people that were, trying to insult, saying this is one of the dumbest comments I've read, or some iteration of that mentality. And probably not 5 minutes after breaking news of Kenny Pickett getting traded to the Philadelphia Eagles, and then us obtaining Russell Wilson, one of the guys responded back to me and says, quote, "told your dumb ass," unquote. I did not let that bother me at all. I don't care that I was wrong. It's not really going to affect me one way or another whether I was right with whether Kenny Pickett got traded or not. But, being wrong doesn't mean anything. Being wrong just means that, hey, you know what? You just learned something new. And people let this pride of being wrong allow them to enter their headspace and enter into a space of negativity, right? Like it forces people to get into this consistent time of arguing over the internet over things that are just trivial. If it's something that is so important that you get angry over, or that you get let your mental health get affected by something like that, and letting people disturb your peace all the time is it's not healthy, right? It's not going to benefit you one way or another. It's extremely detrimental, and to kind of allow people to do that, not only online but in real life as well, right? I've had to tell friends and loved ones, and honestly even strangers, that the things that people say to you, or the things that people do to you, and the things that cause you to be in this rut. Which leads me into this next part of this subject is learning when to stop, right? Learning when to stop speaking to these people when you're online, learning when to stop speaking, or at least speaking aggressively when you are in an argument with your spouse or your friends, or or your family. I love telling the story, and I tell the story all the time because it is such a good example of not being disrespectful, but also being to the point at the same time. And this example is when one weekend my wife and I were going to Big B Coffee, and we were probably within, I don't know, 5 minutes away, and we had gotten into this tiny little argument in the morning. It was very early. We were going to get some coffee and probably a croissant at that time, or a croissant sandwich, I think it was. And as we got into this conversation, or this disagreement and this argument, my wife very aggressively told me to shut up, right? And we've been together long enough that I understood that actually was not disrespectful. So I know a lot of people would take that as disrespect. But in this particular case, my wife simply told me to just shut up. And her explanation behind that immediately after was that this is a stupid argument. It's not worth it. And just stop it before you and I say something stupid that we both don't mean. And it wasn't that she disregarded my feelings. It wasn't that I disregarded her feelings. It wasn't that the argument was important, whether it wasn't important. It was the simple fact that the argument was stupid. There was nothing that, about that argument that was necessary for us to even argue about. And so within literally 3 minutes of the time that her and I had this argument, and she told me to shut up, we were fine. We got to Big B Coffee. We got the things that we were wanting, and we weren't mad at each other. We were extremely happy with each other, and we spoke to each other with respect, and we spoke to each other after that. And it wasn't that the argument didn't happen. The argument was, there. It was present, and it did happen, but there was nothing important about it that we were going to let it affect our mental health, our relationship, and it didn't disturb our peace. And we learned exactly when to stop. And we do that very often in our relationship, because obviously it wouldn't last 15 years if we were unable to communicate like that. And so understanding when you're supposed to stop, and eventually you can still, represent these feelings in the future, And doing so in a constructive way is really just learning when you're supposed to actually not talk about it anymore, right? Or postpone it to another hour, or maybe within that hour you discover that you don't want to talk about it anymore because it wasn't important from the get-go. Or you give your time you give your brain some time to think about it. So as I'm recording this, I kind of realized that I'm probably going to have a second part to this, but at the current time, I do believe this is a good ending section to this episode, which is to do positive things, to think positively, and to consistently keep your mental health in a positive manner, right? So, I would love to really shout out these two people who kind of practice what they preach most of the time too. We're all humans and we will have our days, and you are allowed to have those days. You're allowed to have these angry days. You're allowed to have these, sad days. You're allowed to have these days where you're all up in your feels and you just need some time, right? You need some time alone, or you need, like me, I need time with my wife. When I'm having those days, I want her to hug on me. I want her to say it's okay, and she does. And I want her to, hey, ask, what food do you want, honey? Or I want her to say, do you want to watch a movie? Just being considerate and being positive about my mood or, my time. But the first person I want to shout out is Tony Ditto. She is a good friend of ours, and she consistently will post very positive things on Facebook. She posts things that are meant to motivate you in the morning and allow you to have a good day. Or she'll post something that is strengthening or that's very motivational for you to feel about yourself, so you can encourage yourself and encourage other people throughout the day, where you are you may wake up feeling sad, or you may wake up feeling nothing at all. And to start your day with something that is positive, that is reinforcing that you are a strong person, or reinforcing that you are a good person, that you're a survivor, etc., etc. No matter what the message is, she is consistently doing this, which is actually very similar to what this next person, J. Rock Carden, does as well. He, it sounds like from what I've seen from him, he's gone through a lot, right? Very recently, and he's gone through quite a bit, but he is consistently staying motivated. I know that he has been through a couple of things very, very recently, and I still see him post positive stuff. He is consistently posting about his son loving him. He is consistently posting about wanting to do better for all the things that he can for himself, so he can teach his son, so he can encourage his son, and so he can live a healthier life for him. And he means that very mentally, and very emotionally, and very positively. And so when I see him going through those struggles, but at the same time keeping that positive mindset for himself, I can't help but to hope for all the best for him, and to want to be able to help whenever I can. And even if it's something as simple as, and it is very simple, to just loving someone's status. When someone is posting something that they are expressing how they feel sometimes, right? So when we express how we feel through Facebook, through TikTok, through Instagram, we acknowledge those feelings, but at the same time, just reacting to somebody's post can just make their day sometimes, because when you see those reactions, you start feeling like, oh, people feel the same way as I do right now, or they appreciate the way that I'm feeling as well. So a huge shout out to both, J Rock and Tony for continuing to stay positive. but to do positive things throughout the day. And there, we always get this conversation of over complimenting, right? I sometimes I don't really think there is a real concept of over complimenting, to an extent at least. So I try throughout the day to find something to compliment somebody about, even if it's something as simple as, hey, I like your anime shirt, or hey, oh my god, that hair looks beautiful on you, or oh man, you've got probably some of the straightest teeth I've ever seen, or what's that cologne you're wearing, or what's that perfume you're wearing? It smells really, really good. My wife might like it. Whether my wife would like it or not is essentially irrelevant at that point, but to kind of keep that conversation with people, and to give them a compliment on something that they spent time putting into themselves for, is kind of the positive action that I wish more people would do throughout the days, because doing something that's so simply nice can make someone's day. And one good day is all it takes for one person to survive. To just say hey to somebody that may not get a hey every single day, that could be something worth doing. And like I said, these simple acts, or these positive acts, they don't have to be grandiose, as I've used before. They don't have to be this giant gesture of, I have to look like the best person in the world. It is as simple as just making a conversation with somebody. It's as simple as just keeping eye contact with somebody, and telling someone that you see them. You don't even have to physically say, I see you, but to pay attention to somebody. And sometimes actively listening to somebody is that positive thing that you can do as well, right? You don't just have to fake it, right? Eventually you get to a point where you're doing these positive things all day, every single day, and you are just beginning to do it so naturally that it no longer becomes oh man, I gotta keep doing this. It becomes oh, well, why haven't I been doing this, before, for however long it's been? And you have essentially put yourself in a position to be a positive person and not faking being a positive person. And I hope all of you guys are able to genuinely compliment people, and to genuinely be the nicest person that you can be to someone, because I'm telling you, it is not it's not hard to be nice. It is so draining and so hard to be mean sometimes, and I don't understand how some can be that miserable all the time. But I think this is the end of the episode. I hope you guys have thoroughly enjoyed it, and like I said, there probably will be eventually a part 2. But I hope you guys have a beautiful and great night. I hope you guys are able to have the best life that you can, and I will see you guys very soon on the next episode. I promise you it will not take this long again to get there. So I thank you guys for watching, and please click the subscribe, the notification button. Please like the Facebook page if you can, and I've officially gone to the dark side, and I do have a TikTok now, and I'll post all of my handles on the details page. So have a great night. Love you guys, and I hope you guys have a beautiful next day and whatever else.